Hello and welcome to my first impressions of The Perfect Insider. Now I believe I've mentioned this before, but I'm not really a big fan of mystery anime. However, I really got into Sakurako's Investigation, which came out recently as well, so hopefully mystery anime can go 2 for 2 this season. The story is about Shiki Magato, who's a former prodigy that graduated from university at age 11. However, disaster strikes when she is 14 and ends up killing her parents. She now lives on an island which also acts as a private research facility. Saikawa, a university professor, and Nishino Sono attempt to visit her on her island, however, the visit doesn't quite go as planned. The first few scenes of this anime introduce the characters while classical music is playing in the background. And this really helps set up the slow pace and relaxed atmosphere that this show has. Now I will say that the first few episodes are very dialogue and exposition heavy. When you combine this with the slow pacing, I found that this show really dragged in places. There were a lot of times where I found my attention waning, but luckily every time that happened, the show would change things up and it would regain my interest. But after these first few episodes are over, there's this massive tonal shift and the show goes from being very relaxing to extremely tense. And this shift was fantastic. It made the show so much more enjoyable. However, I will say that even after this shift in tone, the pacing of this show remains pretty slow, so if you don't like slow-paced anime, then this show might not be for you. One thing that I really liked about the storytelling is the consistent use of flashbacks. These flashbacks help slowly reveal a bit more about the characters in the story, and they completely change the way you feel about what's happening in the present. They were also very useful for breaking up some of the lengthy dialogue scenes that this show has. Whenever one of these flashback scenes ended, I actually found myself getting quite disappointed. They always kept me wanting more. I always wanted to hear more about the backstory of these characters. Speaking of characters, I wasn't quite sure what to think about Saikawa at first. He starts off by spouting this philosophical crap and I just ended up saying, "Dude, what are you talking about?" But as time went on, he became much more likeable to me. I noticed that he's very good at reading the emotions of the other characters, and this leads to a ton of humorous conversations. When I was thinking about similar characters, he actually reminds me a lot of Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory, except a lot less dickish. Even though I wasn't a big fan of Saikawa's philosophy, there was one theory that he had that really interested me, and that was that we get stupider as we grow older. When we're young, we start off as a free thinker with all these interesting ideas. However, as we grow older, we end up getting mundane jobs and we engage in pointless small talk. And he's not exactly wrong here. It was quite an interesting observation he made. Moving on to Shika, who's by far the most interesting character as the mystery in the show revolves around her. There are a ton of questions about her character, like, why did she kill her parents? Does she still have the desire to kill today? Is she mentally ill? Was she traumatized? Or has she been sound-minded the entire time? And when that tonal shift happens, a ton more questions just come flooding in, and this helped make the show even more interesting. I also really like the opening and ending themes of this show. I usually skip over openings and endings as I just want to get to watching the show. However, at the end of episode 3, I decided to watch the ending theme on a whim, and I became absolutely mesmerized. Not only is the song great, but it matches perfectly with the abstract visuals. It's really beautiful and I can't praise it enough. The last thing I'll mention as a bit of a warning actually is that there appears to be themes of pedophilia and incest in this show. Now they haven't been focused on too much yet, however, if you have a bit of a knee-jerk reaction to these kind of topics, I would recommend going into the show with a bit of caution. So, I absolutely loved The Perfect Insider. I loved it even more than Sakurako's Investigation. I'm very eager to get back to watching it. If you would like to watch The Perfect Insider as well, it's available for legal streaming over on Crunchyroll. So anyway, thank you very much to everybody who watched this video. If you have any feedback, feel free to leave a comment. And if you like this video and want to see more, feel free to subscribe as well. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.